little fried right now, I guess? Okay. It does not matter how much damage she is dealing. You figure out exactly what's happening, even if you don't know what's happening at all. Here's my bit, my confession, if you will. I don't know enough about how riposts work. Friends and gamers, I don't feel good. Also, yes, my sound is off. I was doing dailies. Not today. I was doing them all week. Anyways, it's time for the MOLDIR patch video. So this is technically the half patch for 2.8. 3.0 was officially announced today. That poster, listen, we'll eventually do like a 3.0 recap, right? So the poster will get its moment, but I've seen a lot of jokes. Y'all got a lot of jokes. Some of my favorites, including the global poster designer went over to the Japanese account, and then another one being that, well, when I first saw it, my first reaction to it was, oh, so they saw the backlash to the 2.8 poster for global. It was like, okay, we gotta do better. We gotta lock in, and they locked in. But then there was a lot of jokes that they sent that poster designer to do the Japanese servers poster, which I'm not saying I laughed, but I might have laughed at work about that one. Anyways, how cute. Unlee and Horrorpedia share their honest thoughts on Blondie's latest experimental thriller. The next day, all their popcorn is gone with only a few strands of deer hair left behind. It's kind of cute. Oh, I love them. I still haven't picked my 6-star portrait, by the way, because I wanted to do another chunk of polls in this video. I'm sitting on it because I don't know, like, because my 6-star selection isn't that diverse, if you will. So I'm kind of waiting it out. We already lost a 50-50 on the banner for Nautica. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. Oh, but yeah, the devs broadcast. The 3.0 story series is now beginning. Okay, so it's going to be a main story chapter. A long, long way is going to be main story again. Okay, I really need to get caught up is what we're saying here. That's 2 main story patches back to back. Interesting. Which obviously I think we all figured 3.0 would be a main story patch. I just didn't know the exact numbering of the versions because usually I go off of, oh, what did the Chinese server get before we get it? But the numbering of the patches got weird because of the Assassin's Creed patch technically wasn't numbered. It was a whole thing. So today we're going to take a look at MOLDIR's kit. Really quickly, let's do a little recap of what's actually going on in game. So Paradise Arcane is still going on. Delivery on Ice has shown up. We are going to do a little shop perusing later on. You can see I got a lot of stuff here. First of all, actually, no, we're going to do it right now. I'm going to buy Nautica's Psycube first. And then I'm going to get the Unilogs and we'll go from there. There we go. I sit on these. Whenever we have an event currency like this, that's obtainable through doing like normal daily stages, I do sit on them and wait to do them on camera. I wait to use them on camera in the shop with you guys. So that's why I had so many. So yeah. Pre-Storm Protocol is still ongoing for 13 more days. Just trust me. I don't have to move the thing, don't I? Hold on. Bottom corner. I am half asleep. Okay. Pre-Storm Protocol is going for another about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks at the time of recording this video. I believe Critter Crash is the same way that it is. In Her Own Reflection is the same. When the Alarm Sounds is now open. This is a endgame event. Reveries in the Rain, also endgame. Moment on the White Expanse, just under 2 weeks. This is going to be MOLDIR. We'll do her survey in a minute, but we're going to take a look at her kit first. Hopefully my brain can process everything because I'm a little fried right now. I'm going to be so honest. I interrupt you from your regularly scheduled MOLDIR. I just finished recording the video actually when you're seeing this, but I forgot to do the clip we've done before because I've forgotten this before. So, while this video is not particularly sponsored, I am a partnered creator with Reverse 1999 and Blue a Buck, and will be receiving compensation for this video. And if you're curious a little bit more about that, actually other creator friends, artists and video creators and streamers, they're actually recruiting for the Backtracking Atelier program right now. And that's actually what I'm talking about when I do these things. So if you're curious about that, you can take a look at the application on Reverse 1999's Twitter. So thought I'd give a little shout out. Not sponsored, like I said, they're not sponsored to be giving that shout out, but it's fun. You should join. Okay, back to regularly scheduled MOLDIR. Peace out. My game is also lagging so hard. Is Blue Protocol is updating. Okay, I was like, what is happening? Blue Protocol has decided to update in the background. Okay, so if you watched the special dedicated video to go over Nautica's kit and do polls, that was over an hour long because it required that much time, apparently. I lost my 50-50 on Nautica's banner because of course I did. And so we're currently at about 40 pulls in total. On this current one, it's like 30 because I got her in the first 10 pull. So that's kind of where we're at. I do want MOLDIR. I actually love her. I love her so much, but I don't think we're going to pull for her because she is going to go to the standard in a little bit. But we do got the sisters back to back right here. So is the font different? Yeah, the font is different. When did they, Nautica and MOLDIR have the same font, but Lopera doesn't? This is frying me. I'm so serious. Okay, so right now, I don't really recommend pulling for MOLDIR. I actually don't know if I've seen anyone really pulling, quite frankly. If you already got your copy of Nautica, I mean, go for it. Quite frankly, I planned on pulling a copy of MOLDIR, or at least trying to, if I got Nautica early. Like, if that first 10 pull had been Nautica and not Lopera, we would be pulling for MOLDIR today. Just so you all know. Okay? Okay. It really does bite a little bit, though, that the patch ends on, like, the 29th of this month for the sole purpose that, because the first day of 3.0 is October 30th, which is kind of fun. 3.0 is on the 30th, but the shop resets at the end of the month. So we'll have a free temple for 3.0, but I could really use it for Nautica's banner. Don't we get a second free Decatome box on this side, or was it just the one? I think it was just the one. I probably am conflating it with the Assassin's Creed collab rewards. Okay, we're not talking about Nautica. We're talking about MOLDIR, a originally NPC character who's now playable. She is a Riposte and Moxie support, so interesting. I was not expecting that, quite frankly. But we have a normal kit today, normal 6-star kit. She's beast. We don't really have to go crazy with it. We probably won't, because I am still waiting for my ibuprofen to kick in, and I might have to take another one. I'm gonna give it like 4 minutes if it doesn't kick in, because I am having a time. Anyways, we're going to start at our ult and work our way backwards, then we'll do pay to play, and we won't pull from her, but we will be doing more pulls for Nautica in this video. And, oh god, I was gonna buy the outfit for Ulrich. I still might do that. I still might do that today because I have the half off, and then I also have some leftover crystal drops, so we still might do that. I probably should wait until tomorrow because I get paid tomorrow, but I'm not going. It's like a couple bucks I would be spending. It's fine. So, MOLDIR's ult. Let's get into it. This is called Astray No More. This is a mass attack, pretty standard. Usually it's either a mass attack or a channel for an ult skill, let's be so real. This deals 400% reality damage to all enemies and grants 6 stacks of ceremonious critical damage to all allies. So you get a mass attack that does damage, but then also you get that buff on your whole team, which is gonna be pretty good. When actively launched, this attack deals 300% additional reality damage to all enemies. When launched as a riposte, for every 4 stacks of readiness, grants 1 additional stack of ceremonious crit damage to all allies, gains doctrine to self for 2 rounds. So let's go over some of these more specific things. So the stacking crit damage bit, obviously positive status effect. Ultimate crit damage, so it's only for ultimate skills, goes up by 3% to 100 stacks, which is insane, by the way. Removes upon trigger, undispellable. So how you want to work this, always run MOLDIR's ult. If you have like multiple ults ready to go, always run it first. Quite frankly, even if you don't have ults ready to go, because it's undispellable, right? It removes upon trigger. You can keep stacking it. So just as soon as this pops up on the I want to call it like a deck. As soon as this pops up on screen, play it, quite frankly. Because it does that mass attack, but then also, you know, like, but if you do have multiple ults ready to go, play this one first out of all of them. So then when launched as a riposte for every 4 stacks of readiness, this is also a positive status effect. Triggers effects based on the number of stacks at the start of the round, up to 50, undispellable, okay. And then Doctrine is another special buff. Ultimate Might plus 20%, and you cannot gain Assertiveness, which means you're immune to Disconcert, and Disconcert means you cannot gain Moxie. So with the Doctrine active, when you launch this as a riposte, basically what this whole bit means is that Doctrine means you cannot gain this Assertiveness buff, which will probably come up somewhere later, which means you just can't, you're immune to not gaining Moxie, so you won't be able to gain Moxie, I guess? Okay, sure, fine. There's a lot going on right now, and my brain is not having it, quite frankly. It's not a rocket science kit. My brain just can't do anything today. Okay, that was her ult. I'm losing my voice out of nowhere. So, that's fun. I'm just like, I have melted ice in my drink from earlier, and I'm just like drinking the melted ice. All right, so her first incantation is going to be a debuff incantation all the way through. This is called the Past Shattered. And at level 1, This is a single target attack that deals 100% reality damage. After attacking, inflicts 1 stack of Passion Drain on the target and gains continuous action for 1 round. So Passion Drain is a negative status effect. And with this one, the attacker gains plus Moxie. Plus 1 Moxie? Yeah. So MOLDIR will gain plus 1 Moxie, and you lose a stack with each trigger. So if you use it, you lose it, essentially. It's kind of how that works. Continuous action, then, is you just get an action point. You get an action point with it. Okay. So at Incantation 2, it looks like that stack of Passion Drain and the continuous action buff, those numbers stay the same, but you're going to be doing more damage with it. So you're dealing 150% reality damage at Incantation level 2, and then at level 3, it's going to be 250% reality damage. Now, in a worst case scenario situation, all your team members are down, she can deal damage, but this is one of those incantations that I wouldn't really worry about stacking. Quite frankly, it's the type of incantation that if you have it, use it, quite frankly. And that seems like that might be a reoccurring theme with MOLDIR's kit. If you use it as soon as you can. Because with this one, the Passion Drain and the continuous action, which is just like an extra action point, these things here, right? These don't change no matter what incantation level you're at here. So it doesn't really matter if you're running her as a dedicated support. It does not matter how much damage she is dealing, you know? Like, that's not what this is about. She's the support, not the damage dealer. So like, yeah, in a worst case scenario, she can deal damage. We have smaller team sizes in reverse sometimes with certain game modes and things. So sometimes having a character that can support and do a little bit of damage is good, but you don't need to really stack this unless you're in like a worst case scenario. If you're just using the Past Shattered for the buffs it gives, or I guess technically in this case it would be the debuffs, just run it. Incantation 1 is literally fine. That's not what I would prioritize stacking. I'm assuming her counter here, her second incantation, will probably be a little bit more into that. So this one, like I said, counter incantation. This is called the Future Reclaimed. And at level 1, this is a self counter. She gains 2 stacks of readiness. If in assertiveness status, which that is the one where she can't, that was the whole bit here, the disconcert, she can't gain Moxie, right? There's a lot of like double negative things happening here because it's like, if you are in the assertiveness status, you're immune to disconcert, which means you're immune to not gaining Moxie. So you can gain Moxie? So you can gain Moxie. Okay, so it's like a lot of double negatives and I'm like, what? Okay. But if you are in that status, I think that lasts like 2 rounds with casting it with the ults in the riposte. Yes. You gain total onslaught for 1 round, but otherwise, if you don't have that active, you gain lightning trigger instead. So readiness is a positive status. Triggers effects based on the number of stacks at the start of the round, up to 50 stacks. I'm curious. I feel like this readiness we might get a chart for in her passive skill bit. I'm thinking we might get something like that, maybe. If there's an essay there later on, I wouldn't be surprised. So, undispellable though. Always good to have. Total Onslaught is the one that's related to assertiveness. With this one, when an ally is attacked, MOLDIR counters with her ultimate, removes upon trigger. So, lightning trigger, if it casts during... No, I guess it's a counter, because I'm like, would this be the riposte? That doesn't make sense. No, because it's a counter, so that, okay. But yeah, removes upon trigger, so you use it, you lose it, obviously. But then if you're not in that assertiveness state, you gain lightning trigger, which with this one, when an ally is attacked, MOLDIR counters with rank 1, the Past Shattered, removes upon trigger, so the Past Shattered is then going to be her debuff. So if you are in this ult state here, where does assertiveness come in? Isn't that with Doctrine? Yes, okay. Okay, so with Doctrine, you can't gain assertiveness, which makes sense then if you're already in that assertiveness state, you would be able to use the Future or Total Onslaught, which is the better one that has MOLDIR countering with that ultimate, so then you can do the ultimate. Because if you didn't have that like constraint on it where you can't gain assertiveness, you would just be able to keep doing her ult, like it would just keep going, you know? So that makes sense that that cuts it there. Lightning trigger then is with the Past Shatter. Okay, that makes sense, that makes sense. But at Incantation level 1, you're gaining 2 stacks. Incantation level 2 is 3 stacks, and Incantation level 3 is 5 stacks. So yeah, the Future Reclaimed is the one you want to stack because like if you're using her as a support, you want to stack this one. So honestly, truly, the debuff you can run whenever. And then this one, I would just like let it sit in your action bar. Let it just sit there. Let the card sit there. Let it stack up passively. Don't like go out of your way to just let it get there. Like give it some time to cook, you know? Let her be. So if we go over to her inheritance then, to the family. Yep, there's that readiness stacking essay. I was so right about that. You look at enough of these character kits and you can figure out exactly what's happening, even if you don't know what's happening at all. Okay, so this is like her passive stuff. As you level up MOLDIR and reach different insight levels, you unlock these things. You really don't have to put in any effort aside from that to get these skills. They're just there. She does them. So at Insight 1, for every Moxie consumed by the entire team, MOLDIR gains 1 stack of readiness for 3 rounds. So it is undispellable, but it will expire after those 3 rounds. This obviously triggers effects based on the number of stacks at the start of the round, up to 50. It's based on the stacks at the start of the round, though. So basically you're getting buffs for finishing the level faster, essentially. At the start of the round, if at no less than 10 stacks of readiness, MOLDIR gains assertiveness for 1 round. Assertiveness being the immune to disconcert whole bit, yeah. So how do you get more stacks, like off the bat? If at no less than 20 stacks of readiness, all allies gain tactical coordination for 1 round, which increases ultimate damage plus 2% for every stack of readiness carried. Tactical coordination is a positive status that when casting for every 1 stack of readiness, damage dealt by ultimate goes up by 2%. So it's not like 4% total. You don't get an extra 2%. This, which increases ultimate damage by 2%, was literally just explaining tactical coordination. It was like an aside. So it's not 4%, it's 2. They just wrote it in there twice. But then if at no less than 30 stacks of readiness, all allies gain armament enhancement for 1 round. Armament enhancement then is a 30% crit rate buff. So you get an extra 30% off crit rate. When the user casts an ultimate, excess critical rate is converted to critical damage. So I'm assuming that means if you hit like 100% crit rate, if you like, let's say this 30, you're at 80% crit rate on a character, right? You cast this, you get that 30% buff there. You go up to then 110%. So that extra 10% is going to go to crit damage. Make sense? So if you have 100 crit damage and you get an extra 10% crit damage, that gives you an extra 10 crit. So now you're doing 110 crit damage. I explained, that's all we're getting. I think I explained that right. All right, her Insight 2 and Insight 3 are a little bit more basic. So Insight 2, this is a plus 5% attack buff when entering battle. Pretty standard, except also not, because I feel like usually it's 8%. Like if I go to any other character, like let's bring up Lopera, you know, because she's right here. If we bring up Lopera, it's gonna be, oh, well, I've been, Nautica? It's usually 8, right? No, Nautica's kit is weird. We've been over this. Can somebody be a good example for me to say 8% on? Marcus, don't let me down. No, Marcus is also plus 5%. Why did I think it was 8? Can somebody show me 8%, please? And they're all 5. Was it always 5%? Why did I think it was 8? Why am I going? His event neither roll lets me down. Plus 8% damage dealt when entering battle. Why did I think they were all 8? I'm going insane. All right, it's back to your regularly scheduled kit review. Hold on. Okay, where were we? All right. 5% when attack when entering battle. Yeah. Insight 3 then, when entering battle, gain 10 stacks of readiness for 2 rounds. After launching a riposte, gain +1 Moxie. Okay, here's my bit. My confession, if you will. I don't know enough about how ripostes work. I just know Jay does them. So I want to go look at Jay really quickly. I also... Kakani? Jay, okay. How do you riposte? Because I don't know how you proc his riposte, but he does it. And I've done it before. Also, yeah, I did hit 100% bond on Jay. I need to work on that. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled kit review, part 2. I kind of know what I'm talking about. Okay, all right. Anyways, that's the basics of MOLDIR's kit. I think she's a pretty good support. I'm not gonna go, but I don't think you need her. That's the thing. I think she's a pretty good support, but I don't think you need her, at least not immediately. As much as I love her I love her so much. I am skipping during this patch, but the second I lose a 50-50 on her banner in like 3.2, I'm gonna be so excited. Like, that's gonna be a good one. I think Lopera is also a support, correct? So they're both support characters? Yeah, okay, they're both support characters. So technically, if you wanted to do if you had like a 4 stack, like 4 slots, and you wanted to do a hypercarry team, technically you could run Lopera and MOLDIR as the supports. I don't know how well it would work, but you could. Those could be your 2 supports, and then you need a sustain and main DPS. That could be a team. Anyways, pay to play, yeah? Sometimes a team is just 2 sisters and God knows 2 other dudes. I don't know. Anyways, this is the pay to play section of the video. What is this if you are new here? This is where we go over the portraits of the character. In this case, it is portraits. Basically, it's just extra copies. We do this with all the gacha games. And I give general recommendations on where I think you should stop pulling. Especially, this is like a traditional pay-to-play section because the character will go to standard, especially in reverse. It's really easy to lose a 50-50 and get a copy of the character once they're put on the standard. So like, it's not a big deal. With Nautica, it was a bit weird. Same thing with Ulrich because there's no real banner to get him on right now. Those pay-to-play sections were weird. MOLDIR, totally normal pay to play section. So my general recommendation in almost every gacha game, whether you are a low spender looking to get a couple of copies because you really like the character, or if you are a high spender whale, my general recommendation is to only pull up to getting 2 extra copies of the character in the patch they originally appear. With gacha games, the meta is constantly changing. Reverse isn't as bad, I will say that. Like, generally, characters can kind of wait out a couple patches as opposed to some other games. So generally I recommend stopping at 2. If you're a low spender, stop at 2, don't go any further. If you're a high spender, go to 2, especially because of that standard pool. Go to 2 and get your extra copies by either losing 50/50s or on a rerun later on. If when the character gets that first rerun, if you're still using them and want those extra copies to go up to 5, that's when you would do that. Because you might pull to level 2 portrait and the character's out of the meta in like a month. So like I said, reverse isn't as bad with it, but like still. That being said, everything we just went over was at portrait 0. That's 1 copy, totally normal and easy to get if you are a free-to-play player and you've been saving and all that. This patch is a little weird, and we also are just riding off the tails of the Assassin's Creed patch. That was also a little weird. So portrait level 1 is going to be 2 copies of MOLDIR, and this is a buff for the past Shattered. This is the debuff incantation. And at ranks 1, 2, and 3, reality damage is increased to 150%, 225%, and 375% respectively. The duration of continuous action is increased to 2 rounds as well. So originally you only get that 1 round, and it goes up to 2 across the board. Again, this is good. You're doing a little bit more damage, but I don't think you need this, especially if you're running her as a support. A damage bonus is always going to be more of a DPS buff, and so that's not really what we're looking for here. So you don't need this, quite frankly, but it is portrait level 1, so if you're going for any portrait copies at all, you will get this. So I'm not surprised that it's kind of like the most, I feel like for MOLDIR's kit, it's the most unnecessary. It's a support kit. You don't need extra damage, but I guess it's helpful if you're running her like in a worst case scenario situation. But if she's running as a support, that's not really what you're going for, you know? But getting an extra round on the continuous action, so now you get 2 extra action points. That's pretty good, but it's across the board. So again, you still, with this one, you don't need to worry about leveling up the past Shattered. You can run it at Incantation 1 and be fine, you know? You're still getting in this case, 2 rounds of continuous action. So that one's fine. Portrait level 2 then, this is going to be 3 copies of the character. This is a buff for her passive skills to the family. Tactical Coordination's ultimate damage is increased to 2.5%. Armament. Oh yeah, okay, that's the end of a sentence. That's the end of a sentence. Armament Enhancement's crit rate is increased to 40%. So what are the base numbers for this? First of all, Tactical Coordination. Okay, this is part of Insight 1. I thought this was part of Insight 3 for some reason. No, it's part of Insight 1. This is like the mid-range. If you're at no less than 20 stacks of readiness, you get that Tactical Coordination. Originally, it is plus 2% for every stack. Now you get an extra 0.5%, which I feel like that's decent enough. Because it's a percentage increase that will start to stack after a certain amount of time, so it's good enough. The crit rate increased to 40%. That is... Where's the crit rate? Oh, this is Armament Enhancement. So Armament Enhancement is at 30, so you get an extra 10% crit rate on Armament Enhancement. I think an extra 10% crit rate anywhere is insane, quite frankly. So I think her P2 is pretty good. My one thing would be, it really does depend on, you need no less than 20 stacks. What I'm curious about though, okay, so basically they worded this really weird for some reason to my brain. A little bit more plain English. You need at least 10 stacks for the first tier of this, at least 20 for the second tier, and at least 30 for the third tier. So I believe the stacks cap at 50. So this one would be what you'd get there, and then you'd have 20 left over, so you get this one next, without, obviously, if you don't stack anymore. So hypothetically, you could keep this like continuously going if you have enough stacks, if you have all 50. But it really depends on getting those stacks at the beginning of the round. You really need those. So could be dependent. But yeah, it's fine. I do think it's like I said, 40%, an extra 10% crit rate is good anywhere. This is generally where I recommend dropping off and looking at her Portrait 3. I think I still recommend that. At Portrait 3, this is going to be 4 copies of MOLDIR, another buff for To the Family. After launching a riposte, Moxie gained is increased to +2. I believe originally it is +1. Yes, and that is a buff for Insight 3. So if you are a newer player, I would not worry about getting level 3 at all, because it might take you a minute to get up to Insight 3. So I'm just saying, if it's not as necessary right now, and that's like, if then that's the case, I would totally wait for a rerun, because you're not going to use this if you're a new player as of the Assassin's Creed collab. There's a very high chance you wouldn't be using this. But if you're a general player, I still don't think you need this. It's a +1 increase for her Insight 3. So like you got to level her up all the way to Insight 3 before this is like a valid thing you can do. So again, if you want to go all the way with MOLDIR, maybe a good recommendation is to go to 2 right now, build your MOLDIR, and then get 3, 4, 5 on the rerun. Like that could work. Because here's the thing, this level 3 portrait you're not going to use right now. It's going to take a couple days to get this one working unless you pre-farmed heavy. So a little bit iffy on that one. Also, I don't think it's a great buff. It's a +1 on the Moxie. Like it feels a little bit like a nothing burger means to an end, but one of them has to be that one. You know, one of them has to be the one that you're not really, no one's pulling for Portrait 3, you know, no one's pulling for that one specifically. They're pulling for something past it, like 4 or 5, but hey, someone's got to take the hit for the rest of the team, you know? Portrait level 4 then, 5 copies of MOLDIR. This is a buff for Astray No More, which is going to be that ultimate skill. And it looks like the next one is also for her ult. So from here, we're just going to be talking about her ultimate. With this one, reality damage dealt is increased to 500% from 400. So you get an extra 100% reality damage dealt with that mass attack. The number of the stacks of ceremonious crit damage gained by all allies is increased to 8. This originally is 6, so you get an extra 2 stacks there. I think this one's pretty good, quite frankly. Do I think it's like, well, actually 100%. Here's the thing. I'm iffy on this because 100% extra damage goes insane. That goes crazy, but she's not your DPS. And I feel like we might be having a very slight case of extra character copies change the character's kit entirely. Not like entirely in this case, it's just a little bit, like there's a little bit of switch up happening here. And I was interested once we got Portrait 1 that I've had a feeling this might happen with the rest of her portraits, is that they're doing the thing, not very egregious, but it's a little bit, where they're taking the extra character copies and they didn't really know what else to put here to buff out for MOLDIR. So they just started turning her into like a sub DPS as opposed to a dedicated support, which in a game like Reverse can be helpful. But if you're that's why I recommend waiting and not getting all your copies of the character at once if you are a whale, because you don't know how you're going to end up using this character specifically in combat. You might pull them and you're like, I love MOLDIR, I want to make her a main DPS, which I don't blame you. I love MOLDIR as well and would probably consider doing that at some point in time if I was pulling her right now too. But the whole thing is, you might pull her, but then you end up using her as that dedicated support. You do no damage with her ever. She's at the bottom of the roster when you look at that damage output at the end of the combat. So it's not like having these higher level portraits isn't going to be helpful. You're not going to be using them, and it's not worth the money you would spend to get them. Go buy a garment or something, you know, like if you're wanting to spend the money, go spend it on like cosmetics or something fun that you see in game all the time that you're going to use. Because that's the thing, I spend money on cosmetics in this game and I love it because I see them all the time. Even though it doesn't really change my gameplay or give me extra damage, I still get to see pretty colors. So like I use it more than these extra portraits, you know. I do think her 4 is good enough, but if you're using her as a dedicated support, I don't think you need it. Even though you do get that extra 2 stacks of the crit damage, it's only 2, you know? Like, it's not game breaking if you don't have this, you know? Portrait level 5 then, this is going to be 6 copies of MOLDIR, another buff for Astray No More, that ultimate skill. When actively launched, additional reality damage dealt to all enemies is increased by 600%, so Portrait level 4 is unnecessary. Doctrine's ultimate might is increased to 30%. So again, we're having something here that Reverse has done in the past with character portraits, where a later portrait, a higher level portrait, negates all or part of a previous portrait. In this case, it's right next to each other, so it's like very obvious, but you have the reality damage. It does say it's when actively launched, but I think this is technically the same thing. Like, I think they just worded it differently. Additional reality damage. Oh, okay, no, I take it back. Her level 5 goes insane. So when actively launched, this attack deals 300% additional reality damage to all enemies. So it doubles. That doubles, which really does, that still plays into my theory that her portraits are turning her into at the very least, a sub DPS. I don't think they went full send into let's make her a main DPS. But there's a little bit here. Doctrine's ultimate might is increased to 30% from 20, so you get an extra 10% there. Do I think her 4 and 5 are good? Yes, I think that buffs, because the second half of it is a buff. The first half is more her damage. I do think they're good. I don't think you need them. That's kind of where I'm at. They're really, like, they're cracked, but they're damage dealing skills. And if you're not using MOLDIR to deal damage, you don't need them, quite frankly. 3, you don't need at all, quite frankly. So yeah, I stand by stop at 2. Low spenders, if you want extra copies, stop at 2 and you're fine. High spenders, if you want to go all the way, stop at 2 for now. And either if you decide before the end of the patch, usually I recommend giving a little bit more of time there. When you get that rerun, she's going to be added to the standard pool in 3.2. Wait a little bit, because these might not be necessary like a month from now. Honestly, a couple weeks from now. So she's the second half character. We have a new patch in like 2 weeks. I doubt that the meta will turn around that quickly in reverse because it rarely does, but you never know. So I stand by my recommendation. Low spenders and high spenders who are considering stop at 2 and wait for later. Because that's the thing. If you stop at 2, you're only missing 3 levels and you could lose that 50-50 commonly enough. I've said this all the time. I think I said I had a P2 Marcus, but I have P1 Marcus and I only recently got Marcus. So I keep losing 50-50s to Marcus. And if you're like a high spender, you probably lose 50-50s a lot more frequently than I do. So yeah, we've been yapping a lot. Let's go do that survey really quickly. Yeah, I have to find it. I guess my brain turned on at some point during this video. We're gonna do her survey stage real quick on the Antarctic plane. See, why didn't Nautica get this set up? Team-wise here, we have Recoleta as, I believe, our main DPS. Yes. Actually, it looks like we have a 2 and 2. So we have 2 DPSs. They're kind of sharing main DPS, but they're both like sub DPSs because mainly you can see her because of this burst damage. They both have burst damage. Melania is our other character. They both have that burst damage on their kit description. So they're kind of sharing the spot. I'm also like yelling over the music in this stage, by the way. They're sharing the spot of main DPS, and then we have 2 support characters here. So MOLDIR is going to be our more like attack-based support. And then over here, we have Medicine Pocket as our healer. They're going to play that role. And I believe it's an all-beast team. Nope, Recoleta's Mineral. Almost all beast, almost all the way there. So that's kind of what this team is running. All right, so we are going to start. I'm turning off double speed. What we're gonna do here, what I usually end up doing here, we're going to run all the incantation skills that belong to MOLDIR. And once we see all of them, we're just gonna kind of play through like it's nobody's business. So I believe, nope, that is Recoleta's. I'm like looking for the orangey ones. Future Acclaimed is, this one is for MOLDIR. Oh, her voice is so pretty. I love her. And then I believe this debuff here, the Past Shatters, is also hers. And all the rest of these belong to other characters. So we're just gonna start running whatever. So that's going to be her Future Acclaimed, pretty simple. And then there's the Past Shattered. And I'm gonna start running random stuff until we see her ult, I think. We'll actually start doing a little bit of combat here because I don't think her ult's gonna show up immediately. Yeah, Recoleta's ult showed up immediately. I am going to sit on those ultimates because we also have Melania's ult. I'm gonna sit on those until we run. Oh, okay, so there's that counter, isn't it? Yeah. Whoa. Okay, MOLDIR. That's kind of wild. Oh, and you can see that crit damage buff hitting as well. So that was actually her ultimate because it ran as the counter. Okay, so we were in the assertiveness state, I guess. Let's start to think this through a little bit. So I don't want to be here for ages, but I guess technically we did see her ult, so we could probably actually start double speeding this. I mean, we technically did see her ult because that was the counter. So I mean, let's go crazy. Hit that, hit that, and then we have that. We'll run that ult attack. Just start hitting things, guys. You got this. Because technically, MOLDIR is a support, so if this team can clear it without me trying, I would say she's a pretty good support. Because we did her stuff, so that we did get some supports in. So let's see what she can do as a support. Let's see what this team can do. All right, we got that debuff stacked a little bit. And I see 2 of Melania's attacks that I want to stack, so we're gonna take that chunk in here. So run that. Actually, you know what? Probably should do the debuff first. Let's do that first. Any debuffs should be run first. Actually, I should remind again. Counter. We run the debuffs, do the heal, and hit an attack. Okay? Okay. I'm just like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Medicine Pocket is so unserious. I love them. Yeah, I feel like we're not doing big damage numbers yet, but that might take some build up, you know? MOLDIR's ult did proc, but this is her ultimate animation right here. So that's what that looks like, but it did come up on its own. Whew. Okay, I'm just thinking this through. Run the debuff, looted the counter, the debuff, and then, or actually, you'd want to run her ultimate first, then do the counter, the debuff. Yeah, okay, that's how that works. Okay, and then we'll do this ult. Those will stack. I'm gonna run it at 2 stars. I was thinking, do I want to try and get a 3 stack? But I don't think it's gonna work that way because the 1, it was the level 2 incantation, then the level 1. So I don't think it was gonna work. But that was the ult, in case you missed it, the first 2 or 3 times. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what blue up I put into the, I don't know what they fed these opponents and these trial stages for this patch specifically. What did you feed these critters? Because they are not dying. I'm running both precast. Mess with me. All right, hit the counter. I lie. I'm a liar. I'm still, no, wrong. I'm still running the 2 precasts. Then we're gonna do her ult again. Then we'll do the counter. And I'm looking, can we stack anything? No, so we definitely need health. So we're gonna run that. Run another debuff. I'm being a little bit conservative with this team and we'll run Melania's ult. I don't know how we're gonna clear this. I'm gonna be so real with you all. Because these opponents are not losing health. We're doing this again. The same thing happened during Nautica's patch. Or like her patch video. This is how these videos end up getting this long. I keep almost tipping over my cup, by the way. There's like nothing left in it, but I keep almost tipping it over. I've tipped it over like twice now. I said I've tipped over my cup twice now, and then the medicine pocket line. Medicine pocket's dumbass line played, and I was like, thanks, medicine pocket. Thanks. We got a lot of ults. I will say, MOLDIR's ult procs so much, both with the counter and just in general gameplay. It's like been there every single round, but it feels like it's not doing enough. Like I feel like I'm going a little bit insane. Do the ult. Actually, I lied. You. I'm not stacking MOLDIR's stuff, which might be the downfall, but I'm running it like pretty frequently. So you, sure. God, what did they feed these critters? These are like mutant Antarctica critters. I mean, we're getting somewhere. It's just taking such a long time. I think I'm used to Ezio like clearing in 5 seconds or less. Oh my God, Recoletta! Girl, you've been holding out this whole time! She's insane, Your Honor. I have 2 precasts. Run them back, y'all. Who got silenced? Who's this? Well, dear, what happened to you, sweetie? All right, I think health-wise we're good, so run some debuffs, this attack, let those stack. I don't think we're gonna need all these actions. I'm gonna be so real. But yeah, MOLDIR's ult hits a lot. And I will say, while her ult is very bombastic, it's not one of my favorite ultimate skills ever in the game. You know, like there's other ults that I like more. I think it's a little bit unfortunate that this is what her ult looks like during the same patch as Nautica, who's has a little cutscene in her ultimate, like an animated cutscene. So I wasn't listening, Recoletta. I love you, sweetie. You take all the time you need. That, I mean, that was easier than Nautica's though. So, all right, I'm gonna hit, oh, thank God. I just wanted to go in and get my clear drops, but every time I hit that button, I'm like, it's gonna throw me into something. We're not gonna get out of this alive, but we did. All right. Now, I've made up my mind. I'm not pulling for MOLDIR personally during this patch, but I still want Nautica. So, also Lucy's banner did end. So, I'm gonna go to the bank and see if I can get anything here. I can't. It's a little unfortunate. We can't do a temple because I have 1,000 clear drops and 8 unilogs. I will not be using these crystal drops. I would like to use them for, if my words would work. Oh, the Ulrich outfit. Why can't my brain work today? Oh my God. Anyways, where are we pity-wise? I'm just scared to pull again. Last time didn't go well. There she is, Lopera. All right, it's been 8 days since I last pulled. Or I got the 5. I actually, I think it has been, yeah, I last pulled 8 days ago. I've been waiting to do this for like a week. So 30, 37. Let's just do a temple. Bring it up to 47, baby. 47! Not the right gold color. It's too bright. So we will have 2 5 stars. I'm just gonna skip. Let's see what we got. A copy of X and a copy of Satsuki. All right. There's my brat. My brat son has made an appearance today. I say that lovingly. I say that lovingly. So we're at 47. This will be 48. And I am guaranteed at this point. So it's just a matter of doing those pulls. I might, at the very end, I might, like, there's 13 days left if I don't get enough pulls from events. This will be 49. And that's going to be another 5 star. At the very end, I might cave and another coffee diggers. All right. I might cave and just buy some poles because at that point it's going to be like one temple or something. So 50, clean 50. And it's white gold, alien tea. So I'm out, but I might be able to go into the bank and get some stuff because we got quite a few characters. Okay, I can get 1 unilog from the treble counters, so we can go up to 51. So this will be 51, and it's unfortunately a 3-star or 4-star. Okay, it's Bunny. Ooh, because like I could use my crystals, but I want to use them for Ulrich's garment. And I don't want to spend money yet because we're very close. I believe hard pity is 70. In reverse, like it's pretty forgiving, so I only need like less than 2 10 pulls. Here, if we go details, I'm curious what hard pity is. The amount of times that not is in like capital letters, the pity does not carry over. 60. Oh my god, wait, we're literally stupid close because I did 51 pulls. I didn't realize the hard pity was 60. Oh no, it's not. After 60 consecutive summons, the rate of summoning a 6-star character in the next summon will rise from 1.5% to 4. So it just about more than doubles. Every next summon that doesn't grant a 6-star character will increase the rate by 2.5. So technically 60 would be like almost 70's hard pity because that's when you're guaranteed. But something I do personally, if I'm like 10 away, I consider it hard pity because at that point you're still suffering. 60 isn't that bad. Also because it raises it. I don't think I would do the 10 before rule here. Okay. I didn't know it was 60. I thought it did this at 70. So we're like really close. I'll wait it out because I still haven't done my dailies today either, and that'll get me some clear drops most likely. So I don't think I will need to spend on anything more than Ulrich's outfit for the sole purpose that I'm so close. If I start doing main story as well, I should be fine. But from here, I probably will well, actually, I have multiple events I need to do for reverse. I was going to say I will pull off camera. You guys won't see it immediately, but it will be in a later reverse 1999 video that you guys will just see later. Still no Nautica, but we're really close to it. So I'm not that concerned, especially because I still have some login polls and things. Like, I'm not concerned. My one thing is, do I want that Ulrich outfit? I need to make that decision. It would be great if we got some clear drops there. Do I want Ulrich's garment? It's 1,080. I get the 365 discount on it, so it'll be 715. So 715 minus 315 is 400. Yeah, I could spend that today. All right, so I need 400. If I spend the 499, I would get the double. I don't even need the double. I need 400. The thing is though, today specifically, I bought Pokemon Legends ZA today, and it was the Nintendo Switch 2 version. So I'm just kind of like, do I want to spend another do I have it in me to spend another $5 on video games today? Let me think about it for a second. I do get paid tomorrow. It's $5 and I get paid tomorrow. I need like a $3. I need like half of this. It's $5. Am I really about to look at my bank account for the, it's $5. I know I have the money. That's the thing. I know I have the money for it too. I'm still checking because I'm insane. Let's do it. Wait a minute. I don't even use Ulrich. I lied. We're not doing it. Because I like the garment, but I don't use Ulrich. Like, this might be the first instance of, wow, I really like this garment, but I just got Ulrich and have not been using him. But I have the coupon. I'll think it over. There's still like 2 weeks left. I'll think it over for that one. But that was the half patch. Yippee! Oh my god, the thunder freaked me out. Let's get off this screen. The thunder, I was like, oh my god, that's really loud. But we'll end on MOLDIR because technically it was her patch video. There she is. She's so pretty. All right. That is going to be it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like down below as well as subscribe for more and hit the little notification bell to be notified when I upload new ones. In the comments down below, let me know how your MOLDIR polls went if you polled, because my recommendation is probably to wait, especially if you haven't gotten Nautica yet, like me. But like, how's it going? Is everyone okay? Is everyone's wallet okay? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I hope everyone had or is having a super lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!